What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are doing an Esports Boxing Club 2021 wrap up where I'm going to cover everything that we have seen from Esports Boxing Club from January 1st 2021 all the way to now. At the time of me recording this, it's the 27th of December. I believe there'll be no more news. I know that the guys are taking some time off at the end of this year, so I got a feeling there's going to be no more news, so I'm pretty confident in recording it now. So yeah, you guys know that I love doing these comparisons where I compare gameplay. I'm pretty much the one that started like looking back at old gameplay. Even Fanatco himself admitted that. I've had a few people saying that I've copied him. He's actually come into my comments and admitted that he got the inspiration from me. Just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Without further ado, guys, let's get into this 2021 wrap up. So you guys aren't going to see too much of my face because I'm going to be reading quite a bit. So I'm going to put up some of the gameplay I've seen throughout it. And then, yeah, so anyways, let's just jump into it. So let's start with January. On the 6th of January, we had Lyndon Arthur talk about his possible stats, which back then was just considered potential, defense, speed, strength, endurance, and health. I mean, compared to what we've seen now, it's just night and day, really. It's insane. Only 4 days later, on the 10th of January, we had Abaney Bridges announced, as well as Ryan O'Hara, who was one of the first, commentator, not commentators, you know, kind of post-fight, you know, an analyst kind of guys. On January 14th, they officially said there were 65 fighters in the game. A day later, on the 15th of January, we got Lee Eaton announced. On the 20th of January, it came out saying that fighter download, you know, fighter create and download would be able to be used like in Fight Night, where we can create, say, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and someone could download him from me and everyone can use him. On January 22nd, we got the character creator video on YouTube, which even looking back at it now is still incredible. And yeah, still looks amazing. And that was something that really blew a lot of people away with that one. And then on the 29th of January, we found out that the Justice League will be doing the soundtrack. So January, quite a busy month, guys. In all honesty, for the start of the year, it was a busy month, and that was when, you know, we hadn't really seen too much. You know, just before that in 2020, we had seen some of the footwork, but nothing. You know, they weren't quite in January. So let's jump into February. On February 5th, we got the Dave Coldwell interview on the Esports Boxing Club YouTube channel, where he just spoke about, you know, more boxing, about how he became where he is now, and a little bit about Esports Boxing Club. Also on the 5th, we got to see the in-game damage of the right eye. Then we jumped all the way to February 17th, where we got the February development update, which featured things like Cleo Ray's Rival Boxing and BoxRec, as well as they mentioned they'd updated the mechanics of the game in general, just huge updates across the board. They also then mentioned that there would be, over the next 6 days, 6 legends announced. On February 18th to February 23rd, we had 6 legends announced, which were Sugar Ray Robinson, Joe Lewis, Jack Dempsey, Jack Johnson, Floyd Patterson, and Rocky Marciano. And that was all for February, so we didn't hear nothing after the 23rd. We got the development update super early that month, the 17th, so there was nothing else in the month of February. And then we jumped to March, which was a kind of a big month. You know, we got some pretty good stuff in there. On the 12th of March, we got the WBC in-game belt shown. On the 16th of March, they started the original nickname voting system, which lasted a few months and gave us nicknames for in-game like Showtime, Tank, Bomber, The King, Notorious, One Punch, Money, Prince, The God of War, and many more. Remember, lots of these nicknames were voted in because lots of fighters hadn't been announced yet. So obviously, for example, like Bomber, obviously the Bronze Bomber, people were going for Bronze Bomber, Showtime, Sean Porter. This is before those fighters had been announced. And then on the 20th of March, we got the Fighter Announcement 1. This was huge in the community. We got a small snippet of gameplay. We also got fighters like Crawford, Plant, Valdez, Khan, Usyk, Roy Jones Jr., Butterbean, Porter, Josh Taylor, Rosado, Linares, Juan Manuel Marquez, and so many more in that one Fighter Announcement. It was insane. Absolutely mind-blowing. Like I said, we saw a small snippet of gameplay that, you know, was kind of argued about, but all in all, it was still pretty awesome. Then on the 23rd of March, we got the March development update. They mainly spoke about gameplay changes and motion capture. You know, nothing about sponsors, pretty much just they're always making changes. Then on the 28th of March, we got the ESBC official alpha gameplay trailer, and that was just fucking insane. That video now stands at 1 million total views. We got to see a lot of stuff from that, a lot of good gameplay, and even now it still looks good, but back then it was fucking mind-blowing. And yeah, man, I still cannot get over that game, and when we saw it, holy shit, was that incredible. And then we jump into April, and we got the second fighter announcement. Not as big as the first one, but it was still epic. I was actually in that video, which was super cool. They showed my reaction from the first one. I didn't have a mind-blowing reaction like my Canelo reaction. I was just like buzzing that they had like Roy Jones and stuff in. So that was really cool. They put me in it, as well as a couple of other of the content creators. And in that announcement, we had fighters like Loma, Maidana, Bruno, Chocolatito, Vidal Ryder, Carissa Shields, McCaskill, Badahari, and the current champ, George Kambosos Jr., and trainers like Renezo, Rob Garcia, Joel Diaz, and people like that. So there was a pretty good one, especially, it's even better looking back on it now, because obviously Kambosos Jr. is now the champion in the lightweight division. When he was announced, he wasn't. He was barely a contender to fight Tio or Loma, whereas now he is the champion. So it's even better now looking back on it. When that one wasn't as big, had he been the champion, it would have been bigger back then. But looking back on it now, is a pretty massive one. On April 19th, we got Lawrence Akali doing some mocap. I don't believe he was actually supposed to show it. I covered that though on my channel, and it had aimbot in, as in like the real guy aimbot. Had him in. You can see his blue hair in that. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously I said Lawrence Akali is definitely going to be in the game, and then he was announced shortly after. And then on the 28th of April, we got the April development update, which mentioned the next fighter announcement. It mentioned 5 gameplay features featuring take a knee, single punch KO / drops, still dangerous when hurt, realistic damage, KO'd while throwing. And then they also mentioned belts, WBC, IBF, IBO, and other versions of the WBC, such as amateur and silver. And then we jump to May. And on May 6th, we got fighter announcement number 3. And we got fighters like Sugar Ray Leonard, Riddick Bowe, Larry Holmes, Tommy Morrison, Sebastian Fundora, Katie Taylor, the Klitschko brothers, and Muhammad Ali, which was pretty crazy. Tons of legends. Not many active fighters there. I mean, just the ones I listed. The only active ones are actually Sebastian Fundora and Katie Taylor. But legends through and through. Absolutely incredible. Genuinely, that one was awesome. For me, it would always go in order. 1 was the best, then number 2, then number 3. But Ali definitely saved that third fighter announcement for sure. Then around the 20 to 21st of May, we got to see Jamel Herring and Loma. They were scanned into the 1024 scanners, which is not mocap. It's just the scanners where it just picks up their body. So they're just in-game model is there, but that's not any movement or nothing. It's just scanned in. Then on the 24th of May was the greatest day. We got the Canelo announcement. Still something I cannot believe. Still something that blows my mind. We didn't know it was Canelo. We knew it was going to be a big fighter. And holy shit, did the community erupt from that. Still incredible to this day. Then on the 28th of May, we got the May development update, which spoke of new gameplay features, as well as the WBO being added, and the gameplay features they spoke of were haymakers, counters, AI improvements, and defense and offense. They were kind of, the gist of it was they want the defense to be as good as the offense, and they want the offense to be as good as the defense. So it doesn't favor you to be defensive all the time. It doesn't favor you to be offensive. It favors you to be the better player, pretty much. And then we jump to June, a pretty quiet month. We got June 12th, ESBC appeared at E3 on short notice at the Future Games show. We got to see some gameplay. We re-saw some old gameplay, but we got to see some new screenshots and stuff, which was pretty cool. Some newer gameplay. June 30th, we jump all the way to the end of the month, we got the June development update, and they pretty much just said, we're updating the studio, we're getting some new guys in, the gameplay is always changing, we're always improving. This is when the monthly updates became a bit dry, because all they could say was, we're still working here, we're just busy. That's all they could really say, we're just busy, we're adding more people, we're improving as we go. And that's pretty much it for June. And then July, where we only got one thing, it was a crazy thing though. We got the ESBC gameplay and development update all in one. This was a quiet month up until this, and this was fucking huge. Tons of new gameplay, lots of improvements from the previous stuff. Now sitting at about 660,000 views. This video ended with the Tyson Fury reveal as well, which was just fucking insane, as you can imagine. And then we got to see some boxer creator snippets, as well as a walkabout gym. So while we didn't see anything else in July, nothing else was mentioned. We saw this one thing, but it was fucking massive. So while July was dead quiet, everyone was just buzzing because that was so huge. So you can't really complain at that. Yes, July was a quiet month, like I said, but all in all, that was incredible. We got to see all that, and that made for tons of content, tons of discussions. It was really, July and August were really good months for that. And then we jump to August. Now, August had a little bit more than July. August 12th, we had the top 10 fighters under 25. And obviously, you could tell it was building up to something. And at number 1 was Shakur Stevenson. I like Shakur Stevenson. I think he's a cool dude. A great fighter. I don't know how he'd fare against Loma. There's talks of that fight, admittedly. But, you know, that was a pretty good one. You know, we got to see young, because people wanted young fighters. And then they made that under 25s. And then, yeah, we got Shakur Stevenson, which was really cool. Then August 18th, we got the development update, where there's mentions of gameplay changes, of course. The ability to change your camera angles, take off or on the flashes and shakes when rocked and landing big punches. As well as the fact that they're always improving their punches and always improving their gameplay. As well as mentioning about the career hub, which was the walkabout gym that we got to see, and which was pretty decent. And then we jumped to the end of August, August 30th, where we got to see a little GIF of gameplay from their Twitter, where we pretty much all made a video on it. Nothing massive, just a little snappy jab pretty much in that GIF. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, I'll try my best to find it for you guys. But yeah, August was, you know, a little bit busier. You know, we got to see a new fighter, you know, a little bit of development update, and a little snippet of gameplay. So all in all, not a terrible month. And then we jump to September, and on September 2nd, we got 9 new additions, such as Vargas, Michael Nunn, Ricardo Morgaya, I think is how you pronounce his name, Emmanuel Augustus, I think that's how you pronounce his name as well, and Jeff Mayweather and Floyd Mayweather Sr., both as coaches. On September 7th, we got to see Katie Taylor go to Steel City Interactive and be in the 1024 scanner. On the 17th, we saw Jessica McCaskill in the scanner. And then on September 20th, they dropped a video called Around the World, where they added 12 new additions, such as Iraslandi Lara, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, Costazu and Timzu, as well as legendary referee Miles Lane, as well as Carl Frampton. And we were like, that's a pretty good one. You know, Miles Lane had refed some incredible fights. Carl Frampton was a really cool pickup. And then just as we thought it was at the end, there were some flashes, and we got Carl Froch, I always pronounce his last name wrong, I don't know if it's Frock or Froch, I think it's Frock, and Joe Calazaghe were announced, and that was huge, man, that was massive, I couldn't believe that, because the video, 12 new additions video, didn't seem like it was going to be much, it was just like Costazu, Timzu, they're pretty cool, you know, legendary ref, Mills Lane, cool, Carl Frampton, and they ended the video with Carl Frampton, and then boom, Carl Froch and Joe Calazaghe, it was incredible. And then we jump to October, guys. We jump to October. So we got 4 different bits of information in September, and we jump to October, where October 2nd, we got the Deontay Wilder Bronze Bomber reveal. We got to see his in-game model. It was absolutely incredible. It was a fucking huge reveal. Really quick, really shocking. I didn't expect that at all. On October 9th, we got to see a screenshot of Tyson and Wilder for their in-game. It was their in-game models, which was pretty cool. And then on October 25th, we got to see some info from Fight Connect TV. There will be post-fight interviews in career mode. A little fun fact about that, I was the first person to make a video on that. And when Fight Connect retweeted it, and they all followed me, and then everyone else made videos on it, which I thought was pretty cool. You know, always cool to kind of, you know, help the community in that way. And then sadly, guys, we had an update. We had an update this year in January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and we didn't get a single one in November. Nothing of note in the month of November. Well, actually, guys, that's not strictly true. I just had a little bit of a click in my brain there. The only thing we saw in November was that Nigel Benn, as in the father of Conor Benn, was scanned in the 1024 scanner. Other than that, we saw nothing else. We saw a bit of behind the scenes from Fight Connect, like I said, November 1st. You know, if you want to count that, some people say they don't count that as an update. But other than that, we literally saw nothing, guys. We saw nothing. It was kind of devastating, really. I really wanted to see more. You know, I made some videos talking about the AI and stuff. I made some good videos in the month of November about some fighters were missing, but really, we got nothing in the month of November, guys. Really, I mean, other than literally Nigel Benn being scanned in, sorry. But other than that, we got nothing. And then we jumped to December, where also, I didn't think we were going to get anything, but on December 10th, the ESBC news article from Sports Gamers Online, always mispronounce their name, they shoot a video of the making of Roy Jones Jr. and then some footwork. That was pretty decent, to be honest, and then sadly since then we have heard nothing. So technically, I've had something new come out on my channel about Esports Box Club every month. Although November and December were the weakest months of the bunch, it just shows to me that they are working harder each and every month that this game is about, which is super exciting. But that is pretty much it, guys. That is the wrap up for 2021. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe down below for more. And yeah, man, we've had a busy year. Lots of fighters announced, lots of gameplay shown, lots of cool stuff. I hope this quick recap for you guys was good enough. If there's anything you want me to improve on with the recaps, let me know for next year. And yeah, well, I assume the game will drop next year. That's my guess anyways, but you never know. But thank you as always for watching, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.